Hey, good afternoon, fellas. It's going on 2 o'clock. It's Tuesday, October 20th, and we're about 78 degrees in the garage. And we're partly cloudy. The last 5 days we've had rain in the valley, on and off. So, my Malibu is filthy with little dots. Started on the wiring on the inside of the car and had to stop. I got some switches and some parts coming on order. I've got a couple of diagrams and some documentation on a couple of touch tone pads, a thumb pad. You put your thumbprint on it and it'll unlock. A few other things that I want to read about and see before we move on with the wiring on the inside of the car. Remember I was talking about that neutral safety switch, that purple lead over here. Let's see. Yeah, right here. This lead right here. If I were to disconnect this right here and leave it open, it would be an open circuit and it would never complete the circuit and the car would never start. So we're thinking of putting some type of security switch in that line somewhere, but we've getting some documentation on some number pads and a few other things. This is for Nick, Rare Rat. If somebody were to get into the hood and that's hot, and take it from the battery and jump the coil and then try to jump the starter, it'll be all well and good. They'll be able to spin the motor and they'll be able to get spark, but they need to get back here to the trunk into the ECM and power up that to get the fuel pump relay to open up to start the fuel pump in the car. So it's a combination of things to get going. It's not like the old carbureted cars where I get spark to the coil and just start spinning the starter and I get going. You need to get back in here and power that up. And we're thinking of something back in here too. So we're just playing a few other games and checking out some stuff and doing some research. So let me close the garage. So in the meantime, I started playing with my other hobby. I'm building an AC-130 Gunship, 1/48 scale. And we're getting ready to broke out the airbrush. We're getting ready to spray some dark gull gray on the inside. Cargo deck, flight deck. I got a few more parts to bring down to sit there and do it, and that's what I plan on doing this afternoon. As you all know, my other hobby is model building and radio controlled boats. The other thing we've done is we've taken all the sports memorabilia off the walls in the TV room. If you remember, I had a picture up there of, well, not a picture, but in the picture frame was a Walter Payton jersey. And the little alcove above the fireplace there was a Dale Earnhardt miniature hood. And that whole entire wall was filled up with different pictures of Payton, Walter Payton, Dale Earnhardt, Brian Piccolo, Gale Sayers, a few other Chicago greats. And I've already patched all the holes for the pictures. Same up there above the fireplace alcove and same there. We're getting ready to start bringing the gray into here, and I'm going to stop it right there at that wall right there for the time being. So doing so, the first phase was getting this stuff down. So that's where I'm at. Nothing really fantastic or nothing really neat. It's just figuring out what we're going to do electrically wise on the inside of the car. Also, I'm kicking around of putting a full console in, going all the way back up to there. To get into there, I was thinking if I put the console going all the way up to where the back seat is, I can put an access panel in there, and then if the fuse ever blows or if I ever need to replace the relay or get into there, I can pull the access panel off and it gives me access to that. The only other way is then crawling into the trunk and then make this into its own bucket seat on this side and do the same on that side. That's what another ideas we're kicking around. We need to do this before we start sealing this up and putting down the dynamat and everything else and figure out what we're going to do. Like I said, still kicking around on the console. Haven't fully decided on that. So, and I've got time. It's what, October, and I've got until November, December, January, February, March, April before I have to really make a decision, because I'll be painting this thing by then. So it gives me 4 or 5 months to figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So no really big rush. So in the meantime, I'll be working on the house and building a couple of models. So, as always, when I have more, I'll turn this back on. Later, guys. Hey, fellas, for those who are interested, you can get the airbrush cranked up and it's a little different shade of gray than what the parts came out of the box. You can see that there. Let's see, what do they call it? Dark gull gray. Dark gull gray. So the inside of the fuselage is sprayed. This bulkhead is sprayed. Flight deck is sprayed. Cargo is sprayed. A couple of ribs in the back are sprayed. So just sitting here to let it get tacked up, and we're going to give it another coat. So if you want to see if I can find a spot to stick you guys, and I'll do some spraying with it on. It's been a while since I've airbrushed something. Last time was that camouflage Phantom. I don't know if I ever put that on there or not, that I built. It was my version. The thing would never fly. I put 320mm Gatling guns on the centerline station and on the left and right inboard pylons. The outboard pylons were for drop tanks. And I was talking to, I was a member of the Phantom group, and I was talking to a captain one time, and he sat there and he told me, he says, if we fired all 3 of those guns at the same time, it might just stop the whole aircraft in midair. I got a chuckle out of that. But I called that model the Gunslinger, because that's what it had on, was just, it had 4 AIM-9s, or not AIM-9s, AIM-7s, and the 320mm. So let this thing set up a little bit, and I'll turn you guys back on when I start shooting the second coat. Later. Alright, here we go. Well, that could be a little boring, so let me shut you guys off. Later. Hey fellas, it's all done. You can see the difference in the shades of gray. So, this will dry all night tonight, and then tomorrow we'll tinker around with some assembly and see what else we need to paint. We'll just leave the airbrush station up here. In case you guys want to know, shoot it right at 20 psi. If I want to do finer lines or a little more artwork, and this thing hardly fired up. If I want to do finer lines, a little more artwork, I'll drop it down to maybe about 15 psi. And if I want a wider fan or covering a big area like doing a car body or something, I'll pump it up to around 25 psi. And still the same airbrush. It's the same one that I gave Anthony, HO Motorsports Jr. I gave him one of these. I had an extra one that I had seen to pick up along the way. And there's no need for two airbrushes. So that's it. And I hope I didn't bore the hell out of you guys, but not much going on that until I start getting some parts in, which will be probably Friday this week, and some documentation. I do have some body work I got to do. I've realized this. You look right there. There's a dent in the cowl panel. Let's see if I get a better shot at it. You can see it right here. So I didn't notice that. Or maybe I did, or I didn't pay it any, never mind. But yeah, we'll have to take care of that. But we got some body work we can do on the cowl panel. And if we get a couple of nice days, I might just shoot this all over again, because that's the lineup for the stripes. So the AC-130 Gunship is coming along nicely, and that's all I got for now, guys. Later.